And we are live. Welcome everyone, and welcome Saul. How's it going?
How are you, Jonathan? How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Doing good.
Beautiful,
Not bad.
beautiful. All right, guys. Let me know where you guys are from. Today we're going to be talking about scalping. If you have any questions around scalping, just let us know. And we want to explore possible trade opportunities today, and also while doing so, go through our scalping methods and our strategies and some ideas here. So is there anything you mentioned before a live stream that you traded a little bit before the live? Any
Yeah,
success on that?
but let me do the boring part, Jonathan. But we need to start with a little disclaimer.
Yes, of
That
course.
everything we're going to show here is only for educational purposes and entertaining purposes. We're not giving here any recommendation, buy, sell, signal on any instrument. You guys should not follow along if we engage with trades. This is just the way Jonathan and myself, we read the markets, we approach the markets, we execute, we manage, and it's only for, again, educational purposes only.
Yes, definitely. And while we're on it, I would highly recommend you guys check out the webinar for tomorrow as well. So you got the link scrolling in the bottom here. So you go to the5ers.com/one. Yeah. So check the URL right there and sign up for the special webinar tomorrow, where Michael is going to talk about how he made 60% profits in 4 months. So that's insanely impressive, I would say.
Yeah, so I can share a little bit of what I did. I don't have any open trade right now or any setup. I'm looking for some opportunities, but I can just walk you through maybe the trades I took during the London session. Let me, maybe I'll share my screen.
Do you want me to add it?
Yeah, please.
Right, there we go.
There we go. So during the London session, today there was CPI in GBP, and there was a huge reaction, and there was some follow through. And when I see there's some follow through and some continuation, I'm just looking for those little pullbacks and adding into the slowly entering into the pullbacks. So once that announcement came out, let me show it right here. And I'll zoom in. Okay, so we had the announcement that was like a big new spike, and then there was some follow through, not very strong or anything, but there was a nice pullback here. This little candle was a strong kind of support or demand candle. There was a pullback, and I started adding into the pullback, and I went heavier and heavier. And right at the the support of the candlestick, there was the little pullback I was looking for. So overall, I took all those all those profits and those for break even, and that's it. I haven't been active since the morning, but right now that bias or that willing to go long on GBP has kind of decreased. Today I'm looking some opportunities on dollar yen and dollar CAD, because dollar CAD, I spoke about this on Monday. I believe the opportunity to keep pushing to the upside all the way to this supply area. This supply area was already broken, so I think the target is all the way up there. So in between those supply areas, we have some opportunities. So I think we have some room to continue to the upside. So my bias is kind of to the upside right now. The thing is, we are at the very top of that impulse to the upside on the hourlies. So this is this will be like a resistance level, and this is a great place for for me to go long and then just get faked out. So I'm not a great fan for taking the breakout trades. So I would rather prefer this to pull back a little bit and then start adding into the position to put in my long position, or I would like this to really break out to get a confirmation of the breakout, and then on a pullback to the breakout level, then I'll be happy to add. But I think I'll be looking for some long opportunities. Same on yen. I think the bias is well established to the upside from the dailies. Again, we're meeting right now. We're meeting some supply, so it's a good point for the market to kind of start resting. If we have a quiet afternoon, the rest of the day, we might not see more trend during the day. We might go into sideways movement. So if I can again like wait for this to pull back and start buying, or I could actually start shorting because we are right at the supply area. So if I start building like short opportunities, I can get my limit risked if I place all, let's say there. So that would be how much risk? It's like 37 pip, which is quite a lot. So I'll need to wait. I'll need to wait a little bit. Either I go short, or I'll wait for the short opportunity to happen, and then to start building some long opportunities. So that's what I will be focused on for this session, I believe. And yeah, once I start with that, I think it will be easier for me to start explaining my risk management techniques when scalping. I think one of the most important things when scalping, at least what works for me, is the fact that you start building the position. When you scalp, you need to keep a very high win rate. So the best way to do that is start small, building the position, and then adding into that position. And eventually, when that movement that you're looking for happens, you are your best position is at the best entry point. So you have a lot of win trades, and then some break-even trades, maybe some losing trades, but you have a lot of winning trades. And I think that's very, very crucial when attempting to scalp.
So you're looking at USD/JPY and USD CAD. Now, if you see what you want to see here on both USD/JPY and USD CAD, would you divide risk between those two pairs, or how would you like diversify your risk here between these two?
Yeah, I wouldn't trade both, because right now I think they're kind of correlated. So I think this is being a USD movement. So I expect the same movement to happen on both pairs. Might be wrong, but I think if the breakout happens on the dollar yen, it will also happen on dollar CAD. So I'll just choose one of those, and then I'll stick to that, because I'm not very good at splitting my focus into different pairs and different positions and price actions. So I'll just stay focused on one of the pairs and manage it. Only one pair.
Yeah, I think that's super important. I'm the same. Like I can scalp maybe to have two positions open at a time, but honestly, like having two positions open at one time, it can be distracting. And I think especially when you're scaling in, you have many orders, and you have many positions open, and MetaTrader is just going to get filled with lots of different positions all over the place. It becomes quite messy. But so you said you looked at USD CAD and USD JPY, and if I'm not mistaken, you looked at levels above. So the low time frame range that we're watching, you're basically looking for that range to break to the upside, and then you're looking for levels on higher time frames, right? For targets.
Yeah, kind of correct. But actually, my targets, I tend to take them also on my execution chart, which is in this case the 1 minute chart or the 5 minute chart. So I kind of see the potential from the hourlies to continue to the upside. But unless I'm swinging, I'll take my targets based on the execution time frame, which is the 5 minute chart or the 1 minute chart. Only if I'm scalping, I will set my targets based on this. If I try to swing it, then I'll get my execution on these lower time frames. Then my target, my take profit, will be based on the hourly chart, for example.
All right, so if it's okay with you, I'm gonna switch to my screen, and I'll take a look at USD JPY and USD CAD as well to see if we can find any confluence here with our trading here. I think that's always a fun test to see, like, if there's, I like when there's confidence between traders. I think that adds a lot of confidence, right?
Yeah, but if there's no confidence between us, Jonathan, just let's move to another person. We don't have to compete each other or something like that.
Yeah, of course, of course. So a trade that I'm in right now is Euro JPY. So I have a long idea here that I'm in. So I'm in Euro JPY right now, and the idea is to basically I wanted to. So we have a somewhat of a range here on the 5 minutes. So I'll cover Euro JPY, and then I'll see if we can find any nice confidence on the USD JPY and USD CAD trade. So I have this range here on the lower time frames, and my idea is to secure this trade once we hit the range highs. And the idea would be for hopefully for this range to break to the upside. And I have my target above here based on a higher time frame level. So I believe it's this one right here. So just on the 4 hour, I'm hoping that we're going to break above that low time frame range and hit this level to the left right here. So there's a lot of resistance above. So I'm not hoping for this trade to run. I'm not going to let it run. I'm just hoping for that to break out and touch that level above. So let's see what happens with this one. I'm still trying to figure out, honestly, for myself, the idea of scaling into position. We had a webinar yesterday with Michael, and he talked about his trading, how he's scaling into position, and he said something very interesting, where I talked about my system, how it has very clear entry triggers, and I asked him about his entry triggers, and he said that his entry triggers are not as important now when he's like scaling in to the position. He basically looks at a level of interest, and then when price hits that level, he starts buying small positions, and then if price is showing more signs of a bounce, he buys more. Would that be something similar to what you're doing when you're scaling in?
Absolutely. I that approach to trading where I started actively managing and actually getting into my positions was like a career trading for me, career change. I don't know.
Yeah.
Thing. The fact that you could not put all the risk in one single entry price, because there are great traders that are able to do that, but for myself it's just easier to build into the position. So that way I kind of release that pressure of being super precise with my entry, and I give myself the flexibility to be wrong at certain levels of trading, because I can adjust my position with more sizing. So as long as my setup is still there, my bias is still there, there's like a range in which the setup is still valid. I just don't know what I'm looking for to happen is going to happen. So I give myself some flexibility by scaling into my position, instead of just taking one trade full risk in, and then I have nothing else to do with the trade because I'm all fully allocated. So that's the idea behind scaling in. The most important, I think, especially when scalping and scaling in, is to understand what are the valid entry points that you scale in. Because sometimes I try to explain or to teach this concept of scaling in, and I'm get asked, okay, how is this different from a martingale, for example? And there's crucial differences between martingale and scaling in. First, that you're not supposed to be doubling up your position every time you scale in, and also that there's a reason behind why you're scaling in. Okay, there's a reason, there's a clear price level, a clear entry signal why you're adding into a position at that specific level. So as long as you have like those concepts in place, scaling in for me, that was like a life changer.
Yeah, and it's very interesting because I hear I've been seeing your live streams in the past, and I've seen you talk about scaling in, and now I talked about with Michael about scaling in, and it seems that the more experience you have in trading, the more interested you get with scaling into position, and it makes sense because price will react so differently at times at an area of interest. But as long as price is in that area of interest, you have an interest of, for example, buying that asset as at support. So what price does isn't really, maybe not that super important, when it hits that level. But then when it kind of confirms and starts moving away, you can increase that position. I think that is, I think that's a very, very good way of trading. Now, of course, that is very discretionary. So if you're a systematic trader where you get a very specific signal, that would be hard to trade it that way. So I have a very clear system, but I'm, slowly but surely starting to move away from that and more into a discretionary approach.
Yeah, but you're right. You're right. It's very, very discretionary. It's less systematic, and for some traders, it's not as comfortable or natural to do.
Yeah, for sure. Right. So I got use the JPY here. I'm just gonna add an alert above these wicks to kind of like alert me on if we get any movement. So I believe this was the range you looked at, right, on the 1 minute, right? Was it this one? This local range?
Yeah, correct.
All right. So if we break out here, we might have something on USD/JPY.
Yeah, I just hope before the break to the upside we have a little push to the downside, because I'm into 2 sell positions.
But look at that trend. It's a pretty good. I mean, this is a pretty good trend on the 1 minute. I mean, we do have something here. I think this might be. And then if I'm adding my fibs here, it's probably going to be in the reload zone as well. So let me just change to one. Yes, it's right. Like it's right down here. This looks pretty good. So I think if we get a break above the highs here, I think this is a really good entry point. I'm probably not gonna be entering anything on this one though, because I already have the Euro JPY trade open here.
Right.
So I'm going to be careful with that one. But looking at USD CAD here, I do like this. So on the 1 minute, we have a potential 1 minute bullish engulfing candle closing now. Let's see what it closed like. Is it? Nah, well, I guess it's almost a bullish engulfing candle, but it looks pretty good. And then on the 5 minute, I see that this level is confluent with the 5 minute as well. So you can kind of like extend. You have a horizontal level here, and you can extend it to the left, and you see that is a pretty good. And there's confluence here between different time frames. So if I were to trade this, I would probably trade it based on this next 1 minute candle. I feel like I'm not feeling super confident trading this though, because I haven't really made plans. But on Euro JPY, I did make some plans here. Guys, let me know in the comments if you're in any trades right now, or if there's any scalps that you're watching at this very moment, and we might take a look at it. We have one here on Euro AUD. I'm always interesting to see what positions you are in, and then see if I can find. This is good. Yeah, a long here looks really nice. There's definitely some good looking momentum here. I like how the 15 minute here, how you kind of like broke the structure right here, and broke out. So on the 5 minute, you're probably gonna have a break of structure, which you have, I guess, with that higher low, and then you broke these highs. So this to me, if I would scalp this, I would probably look for a pullback down to around these levels, would probably have stops somewhere here. And then, I mean, if you look at the 4 hour, I usually don't want to long something where it's already had this massive move right here. But if we look for levels here on the 4 hour, I kind of like this. Something like that. That would be like a 2-hour trade. A Euro AD. But because I'm already in Euro JPY, I probably don't want to enter another pair with involving the euro to have that, because that would just mean I had
like mixed signals or something like that.
Yeah, and I would have this double exposure
Okay, finally my trade is looking is going somewhere. Let's see if it holds.
Are you into any positions?
Yeah, I
Did
can
you
share
get
my.
filled? Yeah.
So as we're not breaking to the upside, I started with one position, and then as it moved against me, I added a second position. Okay, just to be better, better position. Let's call it that way. I was a bit afraid that this was going to break to the upside, and that's why I placed my stop loss there, just not get caught on a strong breaker to the upside. And this is what I was expecting to happen, just a little pullback. Now we see how this tick right there stopped right at the same level that previous tick. If we manage to break that tick there, maybe I'm being very precise or something, but we can see how this tick and this tick are pretty much at the same level. So if we manage to break this tick this time, we have a little bit of room to to fill this body of the candle, and then I might be able to squeeze a little bit of more pips. Now I need to take into account that I'm willing to get like only 2 more pips from where price is now to where my target is, and I need to ask myself, okay, does this time risk I'm taking, or are these 2 extra pips worth the risk, okay, I'm taking in terms of time into the trade, and in terms of I'm giving up, the unrealized profit. So I think when scalping, and this is a very important lesson, is very, very important to be able to get your targets, take the money, as many times as you can, because trying to strengthen the market a little bit more might leave you out of the take profit. So for example, now I missed on 2 pips that for unrealized profit, just to try to get another 2 pips of target. So I need to I'll take the profits right now. That's a 4 pips one, and another 3 pips one, and right now around this area, if we get there, I'll be happy to start building my long positions, and we'll see if we have that continuation from the strong impulse to the upside and the nice kind of trend that you mentioned earlier. And I think that's crucial in scalping, like trying to get your take profit at the very at the closest level available, not trying to ask the market to break key levels in order to get to your target. Just put your take profits before those key levels.
Yeah, I think that's very important, especially when scalping. Because I know I talk a lot about that when it comes to, because you want to front run the levels, right? So you have imagine you have a big like a high time frame level where you want to take profit. Obviously, like everyone's looking at that level. Everyone have orders at that level. So if there's going to be enough selling power in that area and enough orders, obviously in that area, that whole area is not going to get filled. So you want to make sure that you have that TP. Be below that area. So, for example, we can look at my Euro JPY trade here. So you can see here that my take profit target is actually above that level, which is a mistake, right? So I should, because this is the level that I marked out on the 4 hour, and the TP target is actually right above. So what I should do is at least have it, below that level. So now we have. That would be so use a couple of pips lower. And when swing trading, I would do more than a couple of pips, because most of the time when you swing trading, you're looking at a bigger area of interest. So what I'm doing is, when I'm scalping, I'm using and I guess the way I'm trading this, I guess this would be like a mix, or somewhere between scalping and intraday trading, because I'm gonna hold this for I can hold this for a couple of hours if I need to. Like, it depends on what the trend is telling me. If this trend is going to stay alive, I mean, we might have this trade staying open for, I don't know, 2, maybe 2.5, or even 3 hours, depending on what the trend is doing. So I wouldn't really call it scalping, but I do look for scalp entries, which means, I usually go into the 1 minute. And on the 1 minute, what I saw here on Euro JPY, and now I just removed everything to make it very clear, to put price action and market structure here in focus. So the level was right here. And then on the 1 minute, we had that break above the level, we had that retest of the breakout level, and we had that 1 minute bullish engulfing candle. So that was the general idea. Now this confirmed the trend or the trade on the 1 minute, and then so it's based on the 5 minute, but I zoomed in to look for that extra confirmation on the 1 minute. So when you're scalping, do you usually stick with one time frame, or do you look at maybe the 1 minute and the 5 minute and other time frames?
So my execution stays on the same time frames, but usually my full process starts on getting my bias from the dailies, and then my levels from, let's say, the hourlies, the levels that I want to be active, and then I find a setup on the 5 minute chart, and I execute that setup on the 1 minute chart. And then when scalping, I do stay on the 1 minute chart in terms of losses and take profits and everything, but I try to align that lower time frame to my bias from the dailies and my levels from the hourlies. So it's not like I just do my whole analysis on the 1 minute chart. I do take a broader image of what's happening in the market, what are the big movements behind it, what I'm seeing on the 1 minute chart, and then my execution and my management, I do it on the 1 minute chart.
Yeah, so yeah, that makes sense. I think we're very, very similar in that regard, where we're looking at the levels on the high time frames, and then we try to get a entry on the lower time frames, but we keep the high time frame levels in mind in case we want to take profits at that level. And then of course we manage the trade on the lower time frames. We have a question here from a viewer, and so he's asking me to look at, or us to look at, GBP USD. And before I do that, because you're looking for buy and you're not sure. So before we look at this one and I tell you what I think, what I think shouldn't really matter to you. And what I'm telling you, if I want to buy this or not, shouldn't really matter to you, because you should have a system, and you should have an approach that and you've tested this, and you have proof that it works. So when your edge is visible, you tested your edge. And for example, for me, that is I always buy the buy the pullbacks in an uptrend if everything aligns, and that I know that that's my edge. And when it's visible, it doesn't really matter what anyone else has to say, because I know that I've tested it. So it's very important to keep that in mind. So let's take a look at GBP USD here.
And also, Edward, would be important to understand which time frame you're looking for. Like, you're looking to buy based off what time frame?
Yeah, I'm just gonna start here before while we wait. I'm just on the 1 minute time frame. Okay. So let's just do a top-down analysis. Usually, top-down analysis is something I do always whenever I'm trading something. So top-down analysis would mean that you start with the high time frames, and then you zoom in. So on the daily, we're testing support here in what I would say is a range. And if there's any daily levels, I don't know. Let's go down to the 4 hour to see if we can mark out any levels. Now on the 4 hour, we have a much different structure. I want to go into the 1 hour to make this clear. So what I'm seeing here is somewhat of an obvious level right here. We already have these wicks testing that general area. I would say that this would be like a local support here. What I don't like about this one is the fact that it's already been tested. It's already been tested here after the breakout. So usually if I want to see if I would long this based on a break and retest on the 1 hour, I would want to see like a breakout, no retest here, no immediate retest, and then that would be the buying opportunity. On the 15 minute, we are getting some bullish reaction to that support. Let's remove this one to make it a little bit cleaner. And then on the 5-minute, I guess you could now look for a target up in this area. And then on the 1 minute, what I would be looking at is probably something like this. But the reason why I would not trade this is because for me, this is the most obvious support. Resistance on the higher time frames, lower time frames. Excuse me. So this is the most important resistance on the lower time frames, and I think the risk to reward here would just not be worth it in my case. I would probably leave this. Maybe if we, break above these highs. So if we break above these highs like this, and then get a retest, maybe at that point we can have a trade that might look something like that, and that would be higher risk to reward as well. So Saul, when you're scalping, do you have like a risk to reward, a minimum risk to reward in mind when you're trading, when scalping?
No, when I'm scalping, I'm not very concerned about risk to reward. I'm actually aware that I work with a break-even risk reward, sometimes slightly negative risk reward, but I know I have a very high win rate, so I compensate my break-even risk reward ratio with a very high win rate. So I just don't. It's just when trading on a 1 minute chart, you have, or at least the way I trade, so many trades and so active that you have so many setups, you don't really have the time to measure each one of your entries if it has a good enough risk reward ratio or not. So yeah, so I've kind of forward tested my statistics and my system, and I know them today, and I kind of, with my eyes, kind of measure if that entry makes sense or doesn't make sense. But I don't measure each one of my trades to see if it has positive risk reward ratio, for example. I just care about my expectancy and my high win rate, and taking profits and taking profits and taking profits.
Yeah, and that's also very important now that you mention win rate, because a lot of people are just obsessed with win rate. But what you need to look at is the relationship between risk to reward and win rate. So obviously, if you have a very high win rate, now the risk to reward is still important, but it doesn't become as important. But I mean, you can also be profitable. I mean, you can be profitable with a 70% win rate, very low R, and then have a system, maybe a swing trading system or a breakout system, where you have a 30% win rate and your average R is 3 or higher. In that case, you will be profitable as well. So I think, I think that's very important to keep in mind. I'm gonna go over to the GBP USD trade here on the 1 minute. I would not. I using my strategy, my system, this is not something that I would be able to trade. At least not with this. So let's look at Euro JPY. What we're getting here.
While you were giving your input on GBP USD, I had the opportunity to take a few more trades. So whenever you don't.
I'd love to look at your screen, see what we have here.
Okay, and then we'll go back to yours. So, I explained what I was about to do, and then I just executed what I said I would do. So, at this stage, let me maybe show the trade history. So at this stage, I was looking for a pullback. So I went short, and then I said if the market comes to this demand area, I will start looking for buying opportunities. So after this rejection here, let me zoom in a little bit. After this rejection, I think that's a rejection that came, from this support there. I added one buy position. Okay, we said that the bias is to the long side. I was looking for long opportunities. I also see on CAD that were broken up, so I'm expecting a similar movement on dollar yen. And I thought after this movement we would have a continuation. So I bought there, and actually the market came strong down strongly to the downside, and it just touched the demand area I marked before, and as it was touching there, I was just buying. Now this platform doesn't give me the opportunity to show like the second time frames, but if we go to TradingView and we see this candle, we can see it went down and went up. So while it was going down, I bought 2 times, and I just took profit within the same candle, within the same reaction. And then there was some continuation to the upside, but I took my first entry as a slightly positive or break-even trade. So it just, I think one of the important things and most powerful things when scalping is the whole session we've been looking for this resistance level or this range to break to the upside. And even though that setup or that movement hasn't happened, we've been able to make money in like micro setups within the range. So the little pullback to the downside, the reaction of the demand area to the upside. So that's, I think that's the bigger opportunity behind scalping, the opportunity to make money in almost every market scenario. With that said, and I think this is something very, very important for all traders to know, is that scalping is not the most efficient way to trade. You end up paying a lot of commissions. You end up paying, the spread is significant in your trading costs. So I would say if someone is watching this and it's just starting out in trading, I would recommend to go into other trading styles, maybe swinging and position, and with the time, and some experience, then going and attempting to scalp, because it might be very, very rewarding, but it requires a lot of skill because it's not the most efficient way to trade.
Yeah, and also not only does it require like trading skills when it comes to technical analysis. I mean, you talked about how you entered and exit on the same candle, and I believe that's the 1 minute. So the execution here is, we're talking about seconds. You see, a level hitting, and then you just enter that right away, and you exit this. Yeah, and then you can exit this, 20 or 30 seconds later. So you need to know exactly where you want to get in and where you want to get out, and you want to be completely calm when doing so. So I think, I think it's best, for people that want to learn how to scalp first, of course, get a good idea of the fundamentals of TA, learn how TA works on the the high time frames and the medium time frames, like the 4 hour and the 1 hour, and then make your way into the lower time frames. Because even though market structure and levels, they look very similar throughout the time frames, the difference in the execution part here with scalping is something that requires a lot of emotional resilience as well. I mean, you have to be able to be very calm, and when you're getting that stop loss hit over and over again, you need to be calm and just keep on buying the levels of interest and following your plan. I think and the way you're trading here is very discretionary, and you're only looking at horizontal levels like supply and demand, and no indicators at all. So you wouldn't really. So this is 100% discretionary trading, and I think in most cases, I think scalping, what it comes down to, most scalping systems or most scalping approaches out there do have a very discretionary approach, in my opinion.
Yeah, and just a word on indicators. The thing is, indicators, at least the ones I know, they tend to lag, and so if I was trying to get this movement with an indicator confirmation, I would get the confirmation from the indicator after the movement happened. So after the reaction happened, you know what I mean? So
yeah, because the indicators are based on usually candle closes. You have to
correct, past information. So I need to kind of imagine what's going to be the next movement, and not the past movement. So
yeah, definitely. So yeah, let's go back to the Euro JPY trade, because we do have some developments here, and I kind of want to go through my thought process here. So I like, we can use the replay. Can use the replay function here to kind of show you what happened here with the trade, and what my thought process here was when looking at this. So first of all, this was extreme euphoria. No, not really, but we had a pretty good move here, and then we saw that rejection at the range highs. And when price were moving lower here, I thought that I want this. If this trend that we're seeing right now, if this trend is showing me any signs of ending, I want to get out of this trade. So we are right now seeing, and I'm also getting an alert on USD JPY. So let's look at that one after. So now we're seeing like the first sign of potentially this trend shifting, which would mean like if we get something like this, I'm just gonna get out of the trade. Now I'm in this trade with full position, which means if the stop loss gets hit here, I'm down 1 hour. But I'm also looking to exit if the 1 minute does something like this. So I'll get out with half an hour loss or something like that. So I'm trying to limit my losses as much as possible when scalping. So now we saw price moving like this instead. So on the 1 minute we get this. So the trend is very much alive, and it's looking quite good at this stage. Not sure what happened here. We got an alert on USD JPY as well.
Yeah,
Now at this
finally
point
broke
we
the
just
upside.
nice. Oh wow. Well, that's a pretty big move. So now I would be looking for a bounce here. So lots of volatility. Shouldn't be anything going on today. Let's see.
Yeah,
Do
that
we
might
have
be a
anything?
news,
Do we
like
have anything
something there.
happening? Wow, all right. So we do have some. I guess we have mid importance news. Now this might become important because we did have retail sales, and the retail sales were higher than expected. Now I'm not used to, like, I'm not following the past numbers of the retail sales, so I'm not sure how much higher this is, and how much higher than expected. But because of the fact that the retail sales numbers were higher than expected, then there might be the case that the news events following this um, might have added effect, even though these are not major news events. But these are coming up in 16 minutes, so not sure if that was because of that. But yeah, now if you have the bounce on that level, and if I would be trading more like you, I would probably already have had my orders here. So I would probably have been filled on like uh, the first test of that one right there.
Yeah, I actually I marked the area where I wanna buy, and
Can
I
I
was
can I
expecting
sorry, can I
after.
switch to your chart?
Yeah, I missed the entry because I
Oh
wasn't
no.
expecting. I was expecting, I saw the breakout and I was marking the area I want to be active, and I wasn't expecting at the very next candle to have the retest of that area. So I thought I would have like 2 or 3 minutes of continuation, and then afterwards I would have the retest. So I missed on the entry.
Yeah, that happened surprisingly quick. Not sure
Yeah,
what happened there. There must be some
it,
news event activating this move right here. You can see that the volatility is still going on.
mhm.
Still going on, which is weird because there's no news, like this was not a economic news event, because as far as I understand, economic news releases come at
Yeah,
half an
not
hour
now.
or full.
Yeah, but I don't know what's driving this breakout. The dilemma now, or the challenge now, is that we have all this momentum from the to the upside, but we are inside an hourly supply. So um, I don't know if we're going to see a full breakout of the supply area, or we're gonna start seeing uh, these erratic movements like that one, just going up and immediately down and up and down, because we have this tension between the daily bias and the daily momentum reaching a very old supply area. So buyers and sellers are right now like trying to decide who's going to take this, who's going to win this battle. So we'll see if we finally see the break of that supply area. I think we have room to go all the way to next value area, which is all the way up there somewhere.
Yeah.
But so we'll see how price action behaves now.
Yeah, I'm going to show you your JPY here. So I moved my stops right below entry, because now my the idea is confirmed, and if we move down to entry, I'm getting out of this trade. So I would rather have I mean, I can take profit here, I can just exit here, but with my win rate, I need to let the trade. I need to so I'm getting the alert now to secure the trade. So I think, yeah, my idea is alive, and I need to let the trade, give the trades the opportunity to become that bigger winner. So,
Yeah.
but at this point, when I'm in a trade like this and it's confirmed that I have stops almost at entry, it's not a free trade, but almost. And I always keep thinking, like, I remember in the beginning when I started trading like this, I started thinking like, what if I go out to the 4-hour? What if I look for like targets all the way up, like all the way up here? I think that's very dangerous. I think that's greed kicking in, right? Because I do see like this level right here, and I'm like, oh yeah, that looks really, really good. What if I just pull it all the way up here? Now this is a 6R trade. That's great, unbelievable, and very, very seldom is those high targets getting hit, especially when you have that this resistance level that's in the way. So when I'm getting in on the lower time frames, I always try to get out on the the first high time frame level.
Yeah, so that trade is looking good. I think if I need to speak a little bit about the psychology of scalping, I took my little scalps, okay, I took my little profit, and then once you see how the setup or the charts ended up behaving, you say, okay, if I hadn't taken profit, now it would be in a 20-30 pips profit. And I think that's a really bad feedback you can give yourself, because many times, sometimes you will not take profit, and the trade will run with you unexpected, in an unexpected way. But many times it will run against you. So if you have set your take profits at a certain point, that's the level you need to take your profits, because as you mentioned, you might get trying to get for more pips on target, just greed getting into you, and sometimes the market will go into those levels, and you will start feeding your brain with bad thoughts of, okay, next time I will let it run, and the next thing you will see is the market going against you. So you just need to be very in this case very systematic with what you do, so you can measure what you're doing, and you're not messing with your okay, one time I'll let it go, the other time I would not let it go. You need to be like consistent in what you do, and based on that, make your decisions.
Yeah, and I think also, like, what you make a plan before you enter the trade, and then when you're in the trade, that's not the time to change your plan. So for me, I look at a trade idea, and I make a plan, and in that plan, I also the discretionary part would be the trade management. So I know I have a plan for when and how to enter the trade, where to exit based on technicals and stop loss, and where to take profit. And then this discretionary part would be to manage the trade when I'm in it. But at no point during the trade can I change stop loss, the original stop loss, or TP, because that would just mean that I'm most likely changing the setup based on emotional based on emotions that I'm getting because of the price movement. So I think that's super important. And I guess it's a bit different when you're scalping like you're doing, because you don't really have like for me here, I have a setup on the chart and I can wait for price to kind of like I don't have to execute in seconds. So for you, I think you probably have like an area on the chart and you have different ideas for what price is going to do when it hit
Yep.
different levels. And so you don't have like one plan, you have maybe lots of different scenarios, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Makes it a bit complicated, but you need to be ready or prepared for, okay, if the market does A, what you're gonna do. If the market does B, what you're gonna do. If the market does C, what you're gonna do. So yeah, it's pretty much how you presented it.
Yeah, I mean, also, if somebody asks you, like, can you? So if somebody would ask you, could you teach me how to trade like you would probably, that's going to be hard, because you can't just give them a system. It's not like, here, take my system and make money. I think what you need to do is you need to lots of short time. You need to trade. You need to have lots of experience to know what price is doing when it's hitting hitting your levels. So you need to have lots of experience with trading and what the market is actually doing when hitting those levels. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
at least we were right about the idea.
Yeah, you're
I
doing
didn't
something
manage.
good.
Yeah, I didn't manage to capitalize on USD JPY though, but Euro JPY looking better.
Yeah,
And
you're killing.
if I'm looking at this, the way I'm managing would manage this trade is if we get something like this and then it bounces here, I would move my stops here, and then I would just not look at this trade. Now I want to manage this trade a little bit more, because I know that there's a potential here of leaving money on the table, basically. Because if price moves up here and gets rejected, like right here, or if I'm watching this and we're trading right here and we see some low time frame rejection, yeah, I'm just going to market exit, right? Because there's no way I'm going to give this back all the way down here. So
Correct.
at this point, I kind of like want to manage the trade. But if I have a stop loss, here and TP here, yeah, I can walk away, because I would be happy with that. Would be happy with that profit.
Dollar yen is just flying out, flying up.
Oh man, oh man, I would love to have had a limit buy here. I mean, sometimes, like, I know when I started trading, I tried, I always tried, I tried both breakout trading and going in a break and retest. But when you see something like this and you're thinking like, yeah, what if I just put a limit buy above that range for that breakout, or a stop buy that would have been filled on that breakout. But usually what happens when all the testing I've done with breakout trading is, for me at least, the win rate is very low, and it just doesn't really fit my style, because it's just, for me, way too unpredictable. Like, you get that breakout, you usually it's going to be a fake out, right? So you get failed and then stopped out. But
Yeah,
the risk to reward on the breakout trades can be huge.
yeah, I've had the same experience as you. Like when trying to get the breakout itself, first breakout, I found myself in a lot of fake outs and a very low win rate. That's why I moved into trying to get the retest of the breakout.
All right, so we got a comment here now. I just want to briefly, cover this. It's not about, it's not about us giving. It's not about us giving a good strategy. It's about giving more about giving the tools necessary for you to test. Okay, I think that's super important, that get the general knowledge of technical analysis, and then you get ideas and you test it. So for me, when I started trading, I had a lot of different ideas, and I took a pen and paper and I started back testing, and I started just looking at the win rate of the of the system that I was back testing, and just to see how it performed overall. So yeah, I would really suggest that you guys need to, if you don't have a profitable system today, you need to test out your ideas. And I'm sure you have many ideas based on the knowledge that you have about TA. So try it out in back testing, and then when you get good results, you have something to work with. And also, don't forget about the special webinar tomorrow. It's going to be same time tomorrow, and it's Michael from The5ers looking at how he made 60% profits in 4 months. Insanely impressive. So make sure you go to the link right here and sign up for that webinar. All right, so I think it would be awesome if we could end this with a TP. That would be nice, but probably not going to happen. But yeah, we have a good trade going here. Hopefully, I'll be making some money here today. So I'm gonna probably secure this trade. I'm just gonna put my stop loss here, and then I will try not to look at the screen here today. So we'll see what happens here. All right, man. Saul, do you have anything to add here before we perhaps end the live stream here shortly?
No, I mean, I'm following the movement. I'm marking as the price develops. I'm marking the levels I want to be active, but I just need to keep waiting until the market pullbacks to those areas, and then I'll start building my long positions. I think the direction has been confirmed from last movement. So I'm marking my levels. When the market reaches those levels, I'll be active, but it's just not pulling back. I mean, yeah, those are my levels. So that was the initial one. We have one here, and that was the last one. So when the market pulls back to that around that area, I'll be able to buy again.
So if price now hits that highest level that you marked out here, what are you looking for anything, or are you just, as soon as price hits that level, will you be entering as soon as it hits, or will you be looking for a bullish candle? Or
so I'll see how this price tests the area. So I will not be looking for a certain like price candlestick confirmation or something like that, but I want to see this movement to the downside is a slow movement, a weak movement, and then last time price was at that level, buyers were very keen on buying. So as long as this comes slowly, like compressing to this area, I'll be just buying without confirmation. If I suddenly see like a strong, black candle, a momentum changing, or a very strong bearish candle, then I'll wait. I'll see what's the price action, and then I'll try looking for some confirmation, some tails forming or something like that. So it really depends on how price will approach that level.
all right, yeah, that's interesting. So you want that slow move to the downside. You want like that slow move, and then you want, yeah. So I think that's what I like as well. When I see price slowly but surely making its way down and kind of like accepting that level as support, and just going straight down. We have a very important question here in the comments. Do I always stand when trading? I do not always. I sit down, I stand. So if you're trading, like if usually I'll trade like some days 4 hours, some days 8 hours. I'm not going to be sitting all days. That's not recommended. If I love my standing screen, I got that last year. It's amazing. Do you have a standing screen, Saul? I mean, standing desk.
Yeah, I do have, but I also prefer to trade not standing, just sitting.
Oh, really? I love being able to like move around, and especially when I'm scalping, I like kind of pace back and forth in the office here. All right, guys. I'd like to thank you all for joining this live scalping session today. If you like these live scalping sessions, let us know in the comments, and make sure you join the webinar tomorrow. And as always, we are live here on YouTube every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 9 a.m. for the 9 a.m. EST for the live trading room. So make sure you guys join us next week as well.
Yeah, that was fun. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you guys for coming and staying. I'll see you next week.
All right. Take care and